Hi there, this is Just a Girl in Camas, Alicia King, and I'm super excited. I guess I say that for every interview, but I am. I'm all these people I meet and these topics I do, I am super excited. And this is a passion of mine. I'm actually lately, some interviews I've been doing have tied into the earth and recycling and plastic and just a lot of topics that I feel are important and coming to a head right now, and I want to talk about them. And this led me to make a phone call to Waste Connections, and I ended up hooking up with Josy Wright, who's right here. And what is your title here, Josy?
I manage the education department for Waste Connections for Clark County and the city of Vancouver.
All right. Yeah. So educate us on Waste Connections about what goes on in our cities
Sure.
with Waste Connections.
Well, I have to say, first of all, to start out, I always tell people that I have the best job in the company. I don't have to drive a giant truck, and I don't have to answer calls that come into the queue. But I get to manage the education department. So I have 5 educators that work in the community, and we talk about recycling and waste reduction, how to properly recycle, which I think is probably very foremost on your mind right now. And then we give tours to the transfer station and just help people know what to put in their big blue cart.
Awesome. So when you say education, this just came to me. Are you going out to schools? I believe I have heard of Waste Connections coming into schools for some education for our young people.
We do. We work really closely with Clark County's Green Schools program. They do. They work with the state of Washington on the Washington Green Schools. So Ellen is our educator, and she's out talking to students and teaching them how to recycle all of the things in their classroom properly, as well as the cafeteria. And we have roughly 80 to 85 schools that collect food waste to make into composting.
Wonderful. I can't speak to all the schools in Camas, but I do know where my kids went. Grass Valley Elementary, go Zebras. They have the award for being super green and doing a lot of things. It is really interesting. I would go have lunch with my kids and, pouring leftover milk in containers, and they have their little food team separating. I mean, it's quite a process.
Yeah, it's really important for us to work with the students because the students can learn how to do it right. They can empty their milk cartons so that their milk cartons aren't rotting on the way to our transfer station, and then recyclers will want it. They also can then go home and teach their parents.
Yes, and they are the future. And if we start teaching them young, then hopefully these good recycling skills will happen.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so I know a hot topic right now, actually in the news, in the community, is plastic. And there is some plastic actually in this poster here. I'm sure some of you have bought these bottles, used these bottles, gone to a friend's house, they sent you home with a bottle. Plastic is everywhere, and I think one thing besides eliminating it completely is we have to deal with it. We have to learn how to deal with the plastic we have right now, at least while we're in this situation. How can you guide the viewers or give some advice on plastic and the role with Waste Connections and our role as a community?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to say it because I just
Say
do. Is it really you need to reduce what you're bringing into your home to begin with? Start there with reducing it, finding alternatives. You don't have to take a plastic water bottle. You can buy a reusable water bottle. And then for us in Clark County, we can still take that material at the curb. So take the lid off, make sure they're empty. Go ahead and throw that in your, we call them Big Blue or
Love it. Big
yeah,
Blue.
Big Blue. And so if you just follow what's on our recycling guide, you should be good. It's the wishful recycling. That's what we call it.
Okay.
It's the plastics like a swimming pool. We don't want that in the curbside mix. But plastic water bottles, milk cartons, orange juice jugs, all of that can definitely still go into your cart.
Okay. What I am getting from this interview and talking with you, and I have been thinking about recycling a lot, it's work. And the thing is, it's work for our earth and for us and for our children and for our community. So it might not be as easy as just throwing it all easily in a sorted bucket. It might take a little bit of extra effort. You might have some boxes in your garage to collect the tape dispenser thing that's left over. And what's coming to me is that for me, it's worth the extra work. it's really important that I figure out how to help the process. I know that recently our plastic has been denied over in China because we are not recycling it right as a community. So, how can we participate more? What can we do other than the glass and the cardboard and the plastic?
I would say the biggest thing that would help us and help recycling in general is it's the wishful recycling. That's what we call it. It's putting in things that you are hopeful and wishful that it's recyclable, but it's just not in our current system. And then some things are recyclable, just not curbside, like the things that you were mentioning. And then right behind you as well is the plastic film and bags.
Yeah, let's talk about this real quick while you're on it. So let's talk about this bin right here. I like this bin.
Yeah. Yes. So, like I tell people that those film plastics, and we call it film plastics, it's kind of a technical term.
Which are the bags?
Yeah, your plastic grocery bags, the bags that your bread comes in, Ziploc bags, the water that wraps your pallet of water bottles. That is all good material, recyclable material, but not in the curbside bin.
Okay.
Once it comes to our facility, it gets wrapped up in machinery, it gets dirty. The recyclers don't want dirty film plastic, but our local stores do take it. They partner with Trex, and it's made into plastic lumber.
Is Trex local?
It's I think south of. We have some local
Station.
staff, but I
Okay.
don't.
Okay.
But lots of times it goes back to distribution centers for
Okay.
the local grocery stores.
Okay.
And then I think some grocery stores also will do plastic to plastic recycling, and that's the best use for it.
All right. So a couple things. Every year in our bill, we get a lovely kind of poster piece of paper that's folded up. I hang it up in the garage so that I can point to something when I want to make my point. Like, no, it says right here. So I encourage you, if you got that, it came out, was it last month or the month before?
It actually came out in October.
Okay.
It comes out every year around that time. There's a leaf coupon in there, and people like to
that.
use it. Yeah.
Okay. So if you missed that, can people still get one of those?
Absolutely. You can call into customer service and get one. But what I recommend, just because I have a smartphone, we actually have an app. It's the Recycle Right app, and it's you can get it for free in the App Store. And it will give you, if you sign up, you can get alerts. You can get service alerts. So if you have every other week service and you can't remember if you should put your card out that week, it will send you a notice. If there are weather events, you can get alerted for that. If which it's not going to snow this year. It's not. That if we have a delay in service, you could get that notification, and then we send out information about recycling as well. And then if you have an item like a clamshell, which is what we call that plastic that your muffin came in, you can actually type that into the Recycling A to Z part of the app, and it will tell you what you can do with it.
That is amazing. So is a clamshell, even when I get strawberries or raspberries, those are considered clamshell as well and not for recycling?
Not at the curb.
Okay, not at the curb. This is great. So this app, which is so awesome. I mean, this is the times, people. In fact, don't ask for the paper possibly. Use the app so that we're saving paper. And you can go on and really get answers to your things. Batteries is another one. I talked to my friend the other day, and she's like, I just throw it in the garbage can. And I said, no. And it says on that paper, put your batteries in a clear plastic bag and set it on top of the recycling bin. Now, I will say my recycling bin gets full. So my top is popped up, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but as we were talking, so we live in Camas. We get the gorge wind. Everybody wants to put their cans out the night before, it seems. And sometimes the next day, half of them have blown over. The recycling is down in the blackberry bushes. Can there be a new design of some bins, or is there some discussion about how these bins can be, I guess, more bottom heavy has been my idea. Put some sand or something heavy down there that...
You know, we definitely have talked about that because we do not like to have litter in our community. That's why we went to the carts, because the 3-bin system that we had back in 2007, we switched in 2008. That was even more problematic, just litter everywhere. So that was part of the reason we switched to the carts. I think, unfortunately, the way that the tipper on the truck works, that we don't want it falling in the truck. We don't want to lose your cart. We will get you another one if that happens,
Right,
obviously.
right. Oh, thank you. Does that happen sometimes?
It does happen.
Oh, really?
It does. And yeah,
I wouldn't guess that.
yeah, and our yard debris carts fall in as well sometimes when they get frozen. The material
Oh.
freezes in there, and they try to shake it out.
Right. Hey, on the app, do you talk about yard debris, about what can go in that as well? Because that is a lot of questions I have too when we do yard work.
Yeah, absolutely. We want plant material, vegetative waste. We do not want sod. We don't want huge trunks of trees. That was really bad for our equipment.
Okay.
And then leaves, of course, and grass.
Okay.
But no concrete, none of that.
Right. Don't do it.
Don't do it. No plant pots.
Yeah. Well, the great thing about chatting with you today, first I have to say, you're just like this wealth of information. It's bad I have your phone number now and email I can call. Yeah. But when I came into Waste Connections, Josy was giving me a tour, and I would say that I feel like it's very forward thinking and wanting to work with our community and make the best with the garbage, recycling, glass, yard debris that we have. I really feel like Waste Connections is thinking that way and trying to improve all the time in our communities.
Yeah, absolutely. And having an education department that works closely with the drivers, that works closely with customer service and the transfer stations, is that we can all communicate and talk. And if there's things that we're seeing in the community, we can fix it, like plastic bags in our curbside bin. But we also just are really proud community partners. I think that we work with over 100 charities every year.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great, great. Well, I try and keep my interviews short. I know you guys are like, no, you don't. I can't on this one. It's important to me. I'm very passionate about it. And I really think education is the key on so many things. But for recycling and for our world, we need to be educated, and we all need to take a part. It takes time. And I hope that you will take the time to educate yourself, recycle, download the app. What's the app again, Josy?
Recycle Right.
Recycle Right. All right. I really appreciate your time today. This has been awesome.
Absolutely. And call me anytime.
Okay.
Yeah.
So actually, if you have some questions and if there's any way I can help solve them or work with Josy, let's figure out the right way. It's okay if there's something you're very perplexed about. It might be that we need to make it a craft project item. And so we can get creative with that too. Thanks for tuning in today. I really appreciate it. This is Just a Girl in Camas, Alicia King.